Hello. I am going to be doing this podcast type grassroots level podcast every day or so or whatever, and just calling it one day at a time. But I feel like around this time, and I'm a night owl, I feel the need to talk and vent, and we're all we're all in this together at home, so here's my version of a late night show from my office. And I got dolled up for you guys because this is the time of day. And of course, my cat immediately wants to leave the room as soon as I fucking start my video. So one fucking second. Go. But part of what I feel like I've been dealing with in the world personally is a feeling of anxiousness, and people push that anxiousness on somebody else. I feel it constantly on me. Either somebody's waiting on me to do something so that they can do something, or they take their negativity of the day out on me, and I'm not necessarily me, but when you're talking, sometimes you're doing too much of this, you're not doing enough of this, and it feels exhausting if you look at it that way. So just take a breath and realize that everything doesn't have to be perfect all the time, and that we're all doing the best we can, and you have to pick your battles. But the point that I wanted to make today was that in order to survive, we need to adapt. That is what survival of the fittest really means. It's not about who is the biggest, the strongest, or the toughest. It's about who adapts and survives. And if you don't adapt, you're gonna die, in Darwin's theory. So that's what we need to focus on in our lives and in business right now. I am watching the news every day and as my morning routine, and I'm seeing a lot of big box retailers going bankrupt, and it's not something that's a surprise. We've kind of seen it coming for a while, especially, these big box retailers, and we're moving online, and all I see right now is the opportunity to turn that real estate into housing or other opportunities than what these big box retailers were struggling to hold on to for so long, which our society no longer needs. Our needs have changed. The world has changed. Pretty much everybody's world has been shaken upside down right now. So you have to, and I'm speaking to myself as I'm speaking to you, we have to learn to accept the punches as they come and pivot rather than giving up, turning back, or, just full steam ahead, brute force. You have to learn to navigate the waters. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk on today. And yeah, I am working hard on trying to figure out my next moves. I don't know exactly what I'm doing business-wise yet because I have a lot of ideas, but at the same time, I am human. I am not Superwoman yet. They don't have enough drugs for that yet. So I have to be realistic in what I can do physically and mentally while keeping my sanity and also having fun. I'm finally going to force myself to take a break this weekend. Like, I have been just either healing or working, I feel like, nonstop, and I need to relax, and that both are important. I think on the opposite spectrum, a lot of people are feeling lost in how they're spending their time, what they're doing with their days. And one recommendation I had that I've been thinking about, I've been seeing a lot of commercials for Colorado Education Connection or something, but that reminded me of this. You can online teach children in China or in Asia, and it was like $14 an hour and could be up to $22 an hour with tips. And so that was one job I kind of had came to mind. But another thought was, there's a website called rev.com where you can become a transcriber or a captioner for videos. So if I make this podcast and send it over to them, somebody will be paid to transcribe the words I'm saying, and there are different rates. So that is another resource that you could look to if you're kind of feeling stuck and you kind of just want to get some money coming in. But in the long term, we have to start looking at the business landscape in a new perspective, because it has changed. And while things are definitely going to go back to a certain type of normalcy, things will never be the same. And this has been, I feel like, aside from the pandemic, a lot of things in our society are finally coming to a head, because we're in this point of observation where, well, at least in the US, is what I'm speaking mostly of. We're at this point of observation where we can see kind of the flaws in a new perspective of our system. And that's kind of what spurred the Black Lives Matter reawakening, because we were able to see this video where clearly something's wrong with this, and people were finally kind of sharing in that reaction, because we're all kind of finally in the same boat, which there is a beauty in it, as tragic as all this is. And I also wanted to shout out, or give hope there are so many heroes in this scenario right now. Like, it really looks bleak, but there are so many people that are driven to do something right now, and it's really beautiful to see. And that's something that we should cling to and go with, because we have a really unique opportunity of a lifetime right now to change the world. And I think that we can. I feel like I've found my mission, and it feels good. It's scary, and it's hard, and it hurts. And sometimes I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But I feel like I'm doing something big at the same time. So part of this I'm kind of flexing is estate jewelry. This is like 5 carats in diamonds. I shit you not. Before you try and rob me, they're all going to a vault very soon, because they're not for me. They're for the business, and the business that I'm trying to do. I want to be able to provide. I see all that real estate that's being kind of wasted, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity in the government for restructuring our resources to better serve the whole communities. And, I've been watching kind of research on the economics of the war on drugs, and we have to also work on the legalization of marijuana, or the crimes, because we have legal marijuana in Colorado but not on a federal, so there is a disconnect there. But also there's a lot of research that was left on the table in the 70s of acid and MDMA, and there's a whole underground drug trade that has been ignored. And in my perspective of the world, as I've been observing and absorbing it and soaking it all in and trying to heighten my mind and, what I'm taking in, I'm realizing more and more that things are way easier if we work with the universe and go with the flow, so to speak, rather than just, fight against it until, brute force until somebody gives up. It's just going to be the same thing over and over again, and it's exhausting. But the point is that we have an opportunity to look at these problems from a new perspective. And there's a lot of things to be done, but there's a lot of opportunity. So stay hopeful and keep observing, keep learning. But that's all I have for today. If you have anything you want to talk about, feel free to comment and we can chat about it tomorrow or whatnot. Hi, Eddie. I seem to be awake here at 11 p.m. This is like my afternoon. So I'm awake, but I'm going to get back to work now. But I felt the need to have my voice heard and have a conversation about it. I don't claim to know all the answers, but I want to talk about it and grow together in some way, in some capacity. So thank you for hearing me, and I'll join you some other time, or I'll talk to you some other time. Bye. Bye.